RFK and his latest campaign ad.
Oh, you can't take a shower. I'm doing a video. No. You got to give me a second. I'm doing a video for Heinz and Young. Okay, this is 60% off.
Oh God! I think someone convinced RFK and everyone around RFK that he's like way hotter than he actually is. It's like he's just an old man who's like slightly like he is fit, but you're still an old man, bro. Like no one wants to see your freaking pecs and your abs and your naked body at every opportunity. Like what is with this emphasis on that? Just because he's a slightly more fit old man doesn't make him like he's no JFK. You know, it's not like come on, bro.
In RFK's mind, he's Tom Cruise in Magnolia. Okay, he's just prepared to go out there and
needs the
slay.
ponytail.
Yeah, you know what? It's a different
kill a
world up
ponytail.
here. It's still 1997. You know, he still sees himself as a spring chicken, as like a 55-year-old
Do
man.
people really find this guy handsome though? Is it with boomer ladies? Do they think his voice
It's
is
this
sexy?
bullshit thing that happens not just to old guys but all ages. When there's a guy that's like looks like he's a six pack, but it's just because he's been like squished together. Like there's those guys that are like would not actually be jacked if they were like a more normal height.
That's one of my perks. You know, that and I lost a kidney, so I've got that line that goes across my stomach. It gives me work at the gym. You know, I'll be like out here, I'll be like, you know, that's up. Sorry, ladies, off the market. You know, but you know, you can look.
He was
He was hot as a young guy. He was definitely hot as a young guy. That's for sure.
I'm sure he was. He's a Kennedy, but
this also
They've got good
does
genes.
this does follow my theory that they have some sort of LA open, non-ethical, monogamous, non-monogamous relation.
100%. If their marriage survived the Olivia Nuzzi crap, then I think that's pretty obvious.
That was
them.
she's like
Woke.
She's like, I got shit to sell. I got promo codes to hawk. Let's get in the shower. Let's rinse you off. I think that's beautiful, actually. You know, I think if you are gonna be, you know, like a freaky sex addict, then find someone that accepts you. You know.
Isn't that what we're all looking for? You know what? Somebody just to sell some merchandise while we're in the shower. I mean, it's heartwarming.
So that's RFK, but I wanted to get into the main.
Oh, Sloppy Steve!
The main attraction, Sloppy Steve, and our boy Kash Patel, who has just been nominated by Trump.
Cash money, baby.
Yeah, that's a badass name, Kash Patel.
Yeah,
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, and he's got quite a 100-yard stare to him. I would say he's got quite a stare, and I get some sort of like Harold and Kumar kind of vibes from him, like Escape from Guantanamo Bay, but maybe instead he's like running Guantanamo Bay. I don't know. That's kind of the vibe I get from this guy.
Let's playing with fire.
Let's hear about him now. Let's hear.
January of 2025. Do you feel confident that you will be able to deliver the goods, that we can have serious prosecutions and accountability? And I want the Morning Joe producers that watch us and all the producers that watch us. This is just not rhetoric. We're absolutely dead serious. We're not. You cannot have a constitutional republic and allow what these deep staters have done to the country. The deep state, the administrative state, the fourth branch of government, never mentioned in the Constitution.
All right, Sloppy. Let's get
Pretty short in the
he's waxing so hard. Griffin has to cut him.
I was
cut his mic because he's wow.
Not the bench
exactly what happened to Dan
you know those
Bilzerian.
guys. I'm not going to go out there and say their names right now so the radical left-wing media can terrorize them. But, excuse me, the one thing we learned in the Trump administration the first go-around is we got to put in all America patriots top to bottom. And we got them for law enforcement. We got them for intel collection. We got them for offensive operations. We got them for DOD, CIA, everywhere. And the one thing we will do that they never will do is we will follow the facts and the law and go to courts of law and correct these justices and lawyers who have been prosecuting these cases based on politics and actually issuing them as lawfare. We will go out and find the conspirators, not just in government, but in the media. Yes, we're going to come after the people in the media who lied about American citizens, who helped Joe Biden rig presidential elections. We're going to come after you. Whether it's criminally or civilly, we'll figure that out. But yeah,
he's going to show up to your guys' houses.
Is he going to encourage the pardoning of QAnon shaman?
Yeah.
That will be the ultimate test.
He might get a cabinet position.
Talking about like MSNBC people.
Yeah, like who's he? Is he going to take Morning Joe out? Morning Joe already went to Mar-a-Lago.
Terrorist.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's why some people speculated that Morning Joe did go to Mar-a-Lago because, like, and I mean, honestly, if you want to give a little bit of credit to these idiots, you know, if they actually genuinely do believe he's a fascist and they actually are scared about him doing that, then I guess that would be the selfish way to go about making sure that you're safe, is kissing up to Donald Trump in the case of people like Joe and Mika. So I guess that makes it more understandable, but still cowardly, obviously. I mean, if I was them, I just would have moved to frickin' Portugal or something. Be like, bitch, you can't get me over here.
And for me, Cash, I'm part of the radical left-wing media. I'm here to support you. I'm here to give the names of other left-wing podcasters that I think you should take down, and go after them. But it's not just the media that he wants to go after. He has talked a lot about going after the deep state and releasing the files to things like Epstein, which to me, it's like, what? So it's going to be just like Trump's name redacted for like the entire thing. Like, I don't know why that's a big selling point, but here he is on the deep state. Let's take a listen.
Well, let's before on that point, Griffin, before we play the next one, let's keep in mind that Trump obviously fired Comey, replaced him with that guy Christopher Wray, I believe. I think that's the name of the current FBI
I think
director.
so, Chris. Yeah.
Yeah, and Christopher Wray actually then participated in one of the investigations against Trump. So he kind of turned on the guy who appointed him. Maybe Kash Patel does release the Epstein list, realizes a certain somebody's on it, and the tables have turned.
Uh-oh.
The FBI's footprint has gotten so freaking big, and the biggest problem the FBI has come out of its intel shops. I'd break that component out of it. I'd shut down the FBI Hoover building on day one and reopening the next day as a museum of the deep state. And I'd take the 7,000 employees that work in that building.
It's like a pop-up museum, like the ice cream museum of the deep
building,
state,
and send them across America to chase down criminals. Go be cops. You're cops. Go be cops. Go chase down murderers and drug dealers and violent offenders. What do you need 7,000 people there for? Same thing with DOJ. What are all these people doing here? Looking for their next government promotion, looking for their next fancy government title, looking for their parachute out of government. So while you're bringing in the right people, you also have to shrink government. The FBI.
And so that's the argument I keep hearing from all these guys.
Damn patriot right there, brother. Bernie Sanders was right about you.
Big government. Yeah, I love Kash Patel. Kash Patel is the department. I'm excited to go to the museum.
Kash Patel.
Yeah. So the thing these guys and like
for our revolution.
Musk and all these guys are like, there's so much federal bloat, so we're gonna create new programs to like delete all the federal bloat. And I'm like, good luck. Like, if they want to like destroy or like severely like the way they do to Twitter and how Twitter's like not working anymore, like if they do that to the FBI, I think that's a net positive. I think that's great. I'm ready to support that entirely. I don't care about that building.
Here's my only worry, and we've had this debate before. I remember Marjorie Taylor Greene suggested something similar a couple of years back. Some people on the left tried to give her credit, and they were like, see, someone is finally talking about abolishing the police. Like, they're like, see, she wants to defund the police. But in reality, let's be honest, they're going to, what they really want to do is make the FBI and all of the arms of the Justice Department and the government, they want to make them sycophantic to Donald Trump and loyal to Donald Trump. That's why Donald Trump fired James Comey back in 2016, because Comey refused to pledge loyalty. Before Trump, there was a notion that the FBI director and the president are apart. They're not, the FBI director does not work for the president necessarily. They are independent from each other, and the president can in fact be held accountable by the FBI. Obviously that happened under Christopher Wray, like I said. So I think that all of this kind of populist messaging about getting rid of the deep state and, you know, making all these FBI agents cops, it sounds like a good idea. I'm not a fan of the FBI. But what I worry is that it's all just an excuse to basically turn the federal law enforcement agencies into Trump's personal Gestapo, essentially.
Sure, right. Like, they fire like 5 people that were doing social media for the FBI, but like turn the rest of them into like a Gestapo. Sure, yeah, that's all possible too, you know. But you know, if they're and like, I don't think that they're gonna destabilize like anything. But like, so I don't really get this guy's deal, other than that he is just a huge Trump sycophant. I mean, he wrote a children's book about Trump that I have here that I wanted to read some excerpts from. So he wrote this
law enforcement.
He wrote a book
What
called
the
The Plot Against the King
An
by
alternative
Kash
perspective.
Patel.
This man doesn't know that in this country we have a president.
Yeah, what the fuck?
So, 1943, I think it's stocking stuffer for Christmas, guys. But this is written by Kash Patel, and it's about an evil Hillary Clinton queen, and Kash casts himself as the wizard. So, it starts, he's like, once upon a time, in the land of the free, there lived a wizard called Kash, the distinguished discoverer. Kash was
So he
known
made
far and
himself
wide.
a character in the book.
Yes, he's
before he
the
even
main
actually
character.
Got appointed to anything.
Yes, he's the distinguished discoverer. Kash was known far and wide as the one person who could discover anything about anything. What the fuck? What? He's gonna make kids dumber. Like 3 sentences in. He found the holy grape deep in the enchanted forest, and he discovered who had stolen the sleeping princess. All right, let's get to the Trump stuff. On choosing
meat
day,
and potatoes.
the whole land gathered at the castle to choose the next ruler of the kingdom. The heralds had been announcing that Hillary Queenton would be queen. She says queenly things like thee and thou and forsooth, and her last name is Queenton after all. But when the royal counter-uppers counted up the final votes, they realized the people had dared to choose the merchant Donald.
The Merchant of Venice.
So this is kind of his headspace. This is like the shit that he likes to do and work on. So like, I don't know, like maybe it's all just going to be shit like this. Like it's going to be like, he's going to say the scariest stuff in interviews, and then he's just going to release like zines.
Well, that's kind of the most optimistic outlook I think we can all have on the Trump administration, is that like, they did talk about locking up Hillary last time, didn't do that shit. It's very possible that in the same way, these guys are all just really goofy losers that like to talk a big game. But in reality, they're even if they want to get some of this stuff done, you actually have to try in Washington to get shit done. That's the thing. It's like, even if you're in charge, you can't just snap your fingers and assume that everyone's going to follow your orders. There actually has to be a plan. There actually has to be effort. And yes, Trump has surrounded himself with a lot of people that are very serious about this stuff, but they're all also goofballs. They're all also deeply incompetent.
And they're also all like, they're all so into Trump and so into like just bending over for him that it has gotten sexual. As we mentioned earlier, everyone seems, this is a real thing that JD posted of him being Trump's wife. And it just
we
seems
missed
like
the portion of him getting of the turkey being stuffed, but you can fill in the blanks after you watch the first portion of this live stream where we dissect something similar.
I just like look at stuff like this, and they're like, they want to be his bottom bitch, I guess. Like that's how they feel. I also like him posting this after like Trump won the election. I don't think I've seen them together at all. Like Trump's at like all these events, and I haven't seen JD like with
Elon
him at
Musk
any
is
of them.
basically the real vice president.
Right? Yeah, and it's like, would Elon even do this? Would Elon post this?
Oh, it's super embarrassing. I genuinely couldn't believe that JD Vance actually posted this himself, unironically. It's fucking wild. But yeah, I think it goes back, as you said, Griffin. I mean, remember that Tucker Carlson speech where he said, "Daddy's coming home, and he's gonna spank you because you're a bad boy."
Yeah,
I mean, that's what it is.
They want to get like spanked. So it's like, how scary can these guys be? They're writing
honestly,
these fucking goo goo gaga kids books and being like, spank me, Trump. And Trump has like the attention span of a gnat. So I'm like, like these guys are saying a lot of scary things, but they're also the fucking biggest babies. They're babies.
Now it is unironically though why I think that Nick Fuentes has nothing to worry about, bro. Just come out of the closet. All these people are already on the same page as you.
Nick Fuentes is more hetero than that picture. Nick Fuentes is like the spitting image of heterosexuality compared to that photo. But, as we're doing a roundup here of what's going on with all of the picks, there's been a lot of picks. We're not going to get through them all, but I had to mention this. Now, we've talked a lot about Pete Hegseth. Okay? Skeet Hegseth. Who has been in hot water. Now, it's like this entire Trump administration is kind of like, these picks have all been kind of like the Avengers, if like the Avengers couldn't go 300 feet near a school, like every single one of them has some sort of sexually evil past, but Pete seems to be maybe perhaps some of the more vile of what you normally get from like a Fox News host. Because like, have you been tracking this at all, Zach? Like,
I read the police report of the rape that he's accused of from, I believe it was like 2017, and it's pretty crazy. He was the keynote speaker at a Republican event, and at a hotel, there's a woman who, alleges that he got really drunk and, she thinks put something in her drink, and she remembers him being on top of her, and she remembers texting her partner the next morning like, hey, something horrible happened, and all this stuff. And there was a rape kit, all that evidence, and yet nothing happened to the guy.
Yeah, so that's been going on. And so now recently, Pete's own mom has come out to cancel Pete here. We've got the New York Times has obtained an email that Pete Hegseth's mom sent to her son in 2018. In the email, Penelope Hegseth refers to her son as an abuser of women. In an interview, Penelope Hegseth says she regrets sending the email to her son. Wow, we all regret some emails. But this is not just Me Too. This is Mom Too. This is the next level. You've been Mom Too'd. Has a mom ever come out like this before?
I mean, I think this is new ground. I mean, the mom has come out on behalf of their child before. We heard from Tara Reid's mom, but we haven't heard from Bill Cosby's mom never got the chance to advocate for her poor son. We never heard from Woody's mom either. So that's a great tragedy. That was a robbery. That was a miscarriage of justice. We didn't give the moms the opportunity to weigh in. But it does count for something if your own mother is like, I raised him, I birthed him, he came out of my vagine, and I still think he's a scumbag. I think I might have accidentally spawned Satan. Whoops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your mom calling you out just for any reason.
For being an abuser, though,
for
of
any
women.
reason.
I know,
Imagine
but
just being a public figure and like, oh, you see the article, oh, my mom has weighed in. Fuck.
Eminem was able to turn it into a positive thing. Pete Hegseth, on the other hand, this is a strike.
And I want to put all my cards on the table. I actually know Pete Hegseth's brother, and Pete Hegseth's brother he's a very nice guy. It's a very nice family. And
do you know his mom?
I've only met Phil, but Phil's great. I love Phil, and it was hilarious. I'll put it on the table here. When I heard Pete got the nomination, this is funny. I texted Phil and I was like, "Congratulations to you and your family," and I said, "Don't forget to laugh along the way." And this was before I knew anything. This was before I knew
a response.
Any of this, of course I did. Yeah, he's like, oh yeah, thank you, sure, whatever, yeah. But
so he doesn't think his own brother is a scumbag. It's just the mom.
No, I not saying any of that at all. I mean, he's not gonna. What's he gonna say that to me in a congratulation text that I sent
don't know
him?
How close of friends you guys are. I mean, if I had a piece of shit brother and someone was like, hey, I'm glad that this piece of shit brother you have is now in a position of power, I might say something. I don't know.
Well, it turns out my text was very poignant because it was very open-ended. I said, don't forget to laugh along the way. And that's still my advice for Phil, but it is, we'll see. Do you think this will sink old Petey?
At this point, I don't know. I mean, they already got Matt Gaetz to drop out, right? I'm wondering if Pete slides through. Also, it does look like from context, I'm able to decipher that his mom called him out for being rude as fuck to his ex-wife, something like that. No, she divorced him.
A second email has dropped.
No, you just said you put that email on screen and it referenced Samantha. I was trying to figure out who Samantha was. It looks like that was his ex-wife, and it looked like the timeline lines up. She filed for divorce right around the time that the alleged rape would have happened. So just for people who are keeping score.